I ended up pouring over $70,000 into helping my folks over nearly 2 years. But you know what I learned from it all? That money couldn't actually buy their affection. Every single week, I'd grit my teeth and transfer around $1,300, telling myself this was just what you do for family. You look out for each other. But no matter how much I gave, it felt like it was never enough. There was always someone else they thought was better, someone else they favored. That someone was my younger sibling, Alex. Alex, my brother, never had to stress about money, not for a single day of his life. All he did was tie the knot with someone well off, and just like that, he became the golden child of the family. My parents would talk about him like he was some kind of financial genius who'd built a perfect life all on his own. The truth? Alex had never earned a penny himself. And me? I worked myself into the ground, draining my savings, only to be treated like a walking wallet. It all really started when my dad lost his job. My mom called me late one night, sounding completely panicked, like the world was ending. "Jamie, sweetie, your dad was let go. We're lost here. The house, the bills, the power, the water. It's all piling up. If we don't get help, we might have to sell the house." I just sat there, holding my phone, my heart pounding. I didn't have much extra cash myself. I had my apartment rent, insurance, car payments, and those student loans still hanging over my head. But how could I say no when my mom was crying on the other end? "Mom, I'll send the money. Don't worry, you won't lose the house." The very next day, the first $1,300 disappeared from my bank account. At first, I genuinely believed I was doing the right thing. Isn't helping your family the right thing to do? But it turned into this endless hole. Every week, I'd get messages from my mom. "Jamie, things are tight this week. Can you send a bit more? Jamie, the electric bill is really high this month. Can you help?" Always ending with, "Jamie, darling, we promise we'll pay you back. We just need a little assistance." And just like that, every dollar I made went into that bottomless pit. I was cutting back on everything, skipping my morning coffee, not even thinking about buying new clothes, while Alex was living it up in his partner's huge estate. Whenever I visited home, I had to listen to my mom go on and on about Alex. "See how smart Alex is? He married well. No money worries at all. Jamie, why don't you learn from your brother? Stop working so hard and find a good partner to settle down with." I just clenched my fists, swallowing the anger. I didn't need anyone to provide for me. I was perfectly capable of standing on my own 2 feet. I had done everything I could to help them, and they still didn't seem proud of me. Things got worse when I started noticing odd things. One day, Mom texted saying they didn't have enough money for medicine. Without thinking, I sent them another $275. But just 2 days later, I was scrolling through social media and saw Alex's latest post, a picture of him with my parents on a luxury boat. My heart hammered. A fancy boat? I tapped the photo, staring at their beaming faces. They were laughing, raising drinks on the deck, while I, the one who'd been sending them every hard-earned dollar, was stressing about my own bills. My mom had just told me they couldn't afford medicine, yet less than 48 hours later, they were on a lavish boat trip. A cold fury built inside me. Maybe I had been completely naive all along. I just stared at my phone screen. My parents, the same people who were crying on the phone last week saying they couldn't afford basic necessities, were now on a boat, holding champagne, smiling under the sun. And the worst part? Alex was right there with them, posing in expensive clothes, his arm around Mom, looking like one happy, equal family. But the reality was I had drained myself financially to support them while he hadn't spent a single cent and was still enjoying a life of luxury. I lowered my phone, trying to steady my breathing. I had to figure this out. I couldn't ignore it anymore. That evening, I called my mom. "Mom, I'm thinking of having a small get-together at my place this week, just family. Are you and Dad free?" My mom's voice was hesitant. "Oh, Jamie, I don't know. Your father and I aren't feeling well. We've been so tired all week, aching all over." I froze. Not feeling well? They had just been on a boat trip with Alex. And now they were claiming they were exhausted all week? Anger flared, but I kept my voice calm. "Then I'll just swing by, bring some food and medicine for you." My mom quickly responded, her tone slightly tense. No, don't come. I don't want you to catch anything. If you want to help, Just send a little money for medicine. I bit my lip. Money. It was always about money. How much? I asked, pretending not to suspect anything. Maybe around $300? Once we're feeling better, we'll come visit you. I nodded, even though she couldn't see me. All right, I'll send it right away. I ended the call, but instead of sending the money, I grabbed my car keys. I needed the truth from them. I didn't go straight to their house, though. I needed confirmation first. I drove to Mr. Peterson's house, the neighbor right next door. He was a retired teacher who spent his afternoons in his garden. I parked and walked up to his gate. Hi, Mr. Peterson. How have my parents been doing lately? I asked casually, trying to keep my emotions in check. Mr. Peterson looked up, leaning on his cane and squinting at me. Oh, they just got back yesterday. Looked like they had a lovely time. My stomach clenched. Just got back? I tried to sound nonchalant. I thought they'd been home all week. Mr. Peterson chuckled. Oh no, they were on a trip with Alex and his partner. I think they went down to the coastal region a few days back. They even asked me to feed their cat while they were gone. It felt like a bucket of cold water had been dumped over me. They had lied. Not only had they tricked me into sending money, but they'd completely ignored my calls the entire trip. I managed a stiff smile. Thanks, Mr. Peterson. Gotta go. I turned around and walked back to my car, my heart pounding in my chest. Enough. I wasn't going to let this slide. The next morning, I drove straight to my parents' house. Their car was in the driveway. From the outside, everything looked the same, just a normal, quiet house, no signs of luxury. But I knew the truth. I knocked on the door. My mother opened it, her eyes widening when she saw me. Jamie, I wasn't expecting you. Why didn't you call so I could get ready? I just stared at her, feeling sick at the fakeness in her voice. I just wanted to check on you and Dad. I stepped inside. The house was spotless, too spotless, like they'd just come back from a vacation, which, of course, they had. I glanced around. On the dining table, a few suitcases were still unpacked. A wide-brimmed hat was sitting on a chair, the exact same one Alex had worn in that social media photo. I turned back to my mother. So, how was the trip, Mom? The smile on her face stiffened. What trip? I let out a cold laugh. The trip to the coastal region on the boat with Alex. You know, the trip where you lied to me about being sick so I'd send you more money. My mother's face flushed with embarrassment. I crossed my arms and waited. Just then, my father came out of the kitchen, looking at me. Jamie, what kind of tone is that? Watch your attitude. I gave a cold chuckle. Watch my attitude? I've sent you over $70,000 in nearly 2 years. I've lost sleep worrying about you struggling. Meanwhile, you were on vacation sipping drinks, lying to me just to get more cash. My mother quickly jumped in. You're making too big a deal out of this. Can't your parents take a little break? I clenched my fists. A break? You told me to send money because you couldn't afford medicine. You didn't even tell me you were going away. Why don't I have the right to know? My father folded his arms, his voice cold. We don't have to report everything we do to you. I nodded, feeling my heart turn colder by the second. Then I don't have to send you another dime. I pulled out my phone, opened my banking app, and right there in front of them, I canceled all my recurring transfers. My mother panicked. Jamie, don't do this. We need that money. I shoved my phone back in my pocket, my eyes sharp. Then ask Alex. I've had enough. And with that, I turned around and walked out, leaving their desperate pleas and frantic voices behind. For the first time, I felt a strange sense of freedom. I slammed my car door shut and took a deep breath, trying to calm down. But the anger inside me was still burning. My parents had tricked me. They'd not only lied about needing money, but had happily lived it up using the cash I'd worked incredibly hard for. And now that I'd caught them, they were acting like the injured ones? No way was I letting them off the hook. I pushed open their front door and walked back in without knocking. I knew this house inside and out, the smell of Mom's cooking, the old sofa where I watched TV as a kid. But that warm feeling was gone now. It didn't feel like home anymore. My mom looked up from the kitchen table, her eyes showing worry when she saw me. Jamie, why are you back? I walked straight into the living room, my voice like ice. You lied to me. She quickly looked away, but I didn't let up. You said you weren't feeling well, but you were drinking cocktails on a boat. You asked for money for medicine, but it was for a vacation with Alex. You call me family, but you've never treated me like one. My mom stood up, crossing her arms. You're overreacting, Jamie. It was just a short trip. I don't know why you're so angry. I gave a bitter laugh. You don't understand? Fine, let me spell it out. I pulled out my phone, opened my banking app, and scrolled through my transactions from the last 2 years. I've sent you over $70,000. You told me you were struggling, that I was your only hope. Meanwhile, Alex, the child you adore, hasn't given you a single dollar. And you're telling me I'm overreacting. My dad came out of the bedroom, his voice deep and angry. Jamie, don't speak to your mother like that. I turned to him, my voice sharp. And how exactly should I speak to her? Should I just shut up and keep sending money? Should I pretend none of this happened? My dad folded his arms, his face unreadable. We don't have to explain every dollar we spend to you. A bitter smile touched my lips. Then I don't have to keep paying for you anymore either. The room went so quiet I could hear the clock ticking. My mom's face turned pale. Jamie, you can't do this. I held up my phone, went to the automatic transfers, and canceled every single one right there. I can't. Watch me. One tap. Every dollar they expected from me gone. My dad clenched his teeth, his eyes dark with frustration. You're being selfish. You're just mad we didn't ask you on the trip, aren't you? This is just jealousy because of Alex. I froze. A fire exploded in my chest. I took a step closer, looking him right in the eye. Jealousy? I let out a hollow, cold laugh. Do you have any idea how hard I worked for that money? While you were vacationing, I was doing overtime. While you were praising Alex, I was giving up so much to help you. And after everything, you call me jealous. My mom interrupted. You're being too sensitive, Jamie. We just wanted a little fun. Why do you have to make such a big deal? I took a deep breath. Because you turned me into an ATM. Nobody spoke. I clenched my fists, trying to keep my voice steady. You need someone to look after you? Fine. Alex is perfect, right? Let him do it. My mom flinched. Alex can't. Oh? Why not? He lives in a mansion, has a rich partner, travels around without a worry. He's your favorite, isn't he? So why can't he help you? My dad's face darkened with anger. Do you really want to cut off your family? I stared at him. No. You did that a long time ago. I'm just seeing it now. My mom's eyes filled with tears. You'll regret this, Jamie. Family is supposed to help each other. I narrowed my eyes. No, Mom. Family is supposed to respect and love each other, not use them. I turned around and walked out, leaving behind my mother's desperate calls and my father's cold stare. For the first time, I felt a huge weight lifted from me. I had barely gotten back to my place when my phone started buzzing like crazy. Mom, Dad, Alex. They just kept calling like I'd done something terrible. I knew what they wanted, begging, making me feel guilty, maybe even trying to threaten me. But I didn't care anymore. I'd had enough. I put my phone face down on the table, closed my eyes, and took a deep breath. But before I could calm down, there was loud pounding at my door. My parents? No way. I got up, went to the door, and looked through the peephole. It was Alex, and behind him, my parents, arms crossed, looking really angry. I opened the door but didn't let them step inside. What do you want? I asked, my voice flat. Alex smirked, crossing his arms like I was dirt under his feet. I could ask you the same thing, Jamie. What the heck do you think you're doing? I gave a small laugh. Doing what I should have done ages ago. Alex's eyes narrowed. You mean cutting off Mom and Dad? You are so petty, Jamie. All this because you weren't invited on a trip. I clenched my fists but kept my voice calm. No. It's because they used me for nearly 2 years, lied to me over and over. And now that I'm not their personal bank anymore, they sent you to change my mind. My dad scoffed. Jamie, you're being disrespectful. I turned to him, my face blank. You think standing up for myself is disrespectful? Fine, then I'm disrespectful. Alex laughed mockingly. Oh, come on, Jamie. You're not tough. You're just throwing a little tantrum. We're family. You can't do this to Mom and Dad. He stepped forward, about to push his way in, but I raised a hand to stop him. Don't step inside. Alex's eyes went wide, like he couldn't believe I'd actually block him. You can't be serious. He won't survive without helping them. A voice spoke up from behind me. Wrong. She's learning how to live without being used by her family. Maya. She walked out from the living room, arms crossed, her eyes sharp. Alex sneered. Oh, great. Now your partner thinks she can but into family stuff. I saw Maya's face harden. Family? Don't make me laugh. Your parents see Jamie as nothing but a human ATM. They don't actually care about her. Alex clicked his tongue, shaking his head. You don't know anything. Family supports each other in hard times. You know nothing about us. Maya stepped forward, her voice dropping low and dangerous. Do you understand the difference between helping someone and being used? Or are you just another parasite living off other people's money, like your parents? Alex flinched, his face turning red. Don't you dare insult me. I saw Maya's hand move, and in a flash, she grabbed a handful of Alex's shirt. Alex shrieked, struggling, but Maya held on for a moment. Listen to me, Alex. You and your parents will never take advantage of Jamie again. If you show up here one more time, don't expect me to be nice. Alex gasped when Maya finally released him. He stumbled back, his eyes burning with anger and shame. Are you crazy? Alex yelled, fixing his shirt. My mom rushed forward, her voice shrill. Jamie, you're letting your partner attack your own brother. Have you lost your mind? I crossed my arms, looking at them. No. Alex deserved it. My dad took a step forward, his voice shaking with anger. You need to control your partner. She just assaulted our son. I laughed. Oh? And what about Alex pushing his way into my home, insulting me and demanding money? Is that okay with you? Silence. I took a slow breath, my voice ice cold. And listen carefully. This is the last time we will ever talk. Don't call me. Don't come to my house. From now on, I owe this family nothing. Alex's eyes were blazing, his lips trembling. You'll regret this, Jamie. You'll come crawling back, begging Mom and Dad for help. I met his gaze without blinking. Never. Alex gritted his teeth, turned, and stormed off. My parents followed quietly, their faces stiff with anger. When the door slammed shut, I felt lighter than I had in years. But I knew it wasn't really over. My parents wouldn't just let this go. Alex wouldn't accept being beaten so easily. And I was right. Just a few days later, they showed up again, this time with more people. I was sitting on my sofa, looking at my phone, when someone started pounding furiously on my door. I didn't even need to look to know who it was. I opened the door. Alex and Ben, his partner, were standing there, Ben looking big and intimidating, like he was there to scare me straight. Alex crossed his arms, his lips curling into a mean smile. So, you actually think you can just walk away from this family that easy? I leaned against the doorframe, crossing my arms. I don't think I know. Alex's eyes flashed with anger. You don't get to cut off Mom and Dad. You think you can just leave them? Family is forever, Jamie. I smirked. A family that uses each other isn't a family at all. Ben stepped forward, his voice low and menacing. You should really think this through, Jamie. I looked right at him, not flinching. Oh yeah. And what if I don't? His lips curled into a smug grin. Then I'll make you wish you had. Maya stepped out from behind me, standing right by my side, her eyes sharp as knives. Oh? And how exactly are you planning to do that? Hit a woman? How pathetic. Ben scoffed, but I saw him clench his fists. He took another step forward, but I didn't give him the chance. I moved first. My fist connected with his jaw, making him stumble back. Alex shrieked. Jamie, are you crazy? Ben staggered, his eyes wide with shock, but I wasn't finished. My second punch landed in his stomach, knocking the air out of him. He doubled over, coughing, holding his gut, his face twisted in pain. Alex rushed to grab him, his eyes burning with hate. You just made a huge mistake. I let out a sharp breath, my fists still clenched. No. You made a mistake thinking I was still your family's puppet. Alex showed his teeth, looking like a cornered animal. All right, Jamie. If you want to fight, we'll fight. I gave a cold, amused laugh. No, Alex. You've already lost. You just don't know it yet. He helped Ben stand up, and they stumbled away from my porch. I watched them disappear into the night. I wasn't scared. They were losing control, and they knew it. A week went by. I thought maybe that was it. But then Mr. Peterson, my parents' neighbor, called. Jamie, got a minute? There's something you might want to hear. I gripped my phone, sensing something was off. Yes, of course. What is it? Mr. Peterson chuckled softly. Well, last night your parents had a real loud argument. The whole street could hear it. I frowned. What were they fighting about? You. And Alex. I sat up straight. Alex? What happened? Mr. Peterson lowered his voice, like someone might be listening. They told him he had to start supporting them financially since you cut them off. But he refused. I was silent. You know what, Jamie? He yelled at them. Said he wasn't a bank and that your parents should take care of themselves instead of using their kids like money machines. I laughed. Sounds about right, doesn't it? Mr. Peterson chuckled. Sure does. I guess he liked the fancy stuff, but didn't want the burden you carried. He stormed out that night after really laying into them. I let out a long breath. It was over. My parents had lost both of their children in just a couple of weeks. No more Jamie to pay for them. No more Alex to rely on for connections. Just the two of them sitting in an empty house, finally realizing they'd ruined everything themselves. I put my phone down on the table and leaned back in my chair. Maya came out of the kitchen with 2 cups of coffee. Any news? I took a cup, sipped it, then smiled faintly. My parents just lost their last child. Maya raised an eyebrow. What do you mean? I put the cup down, feeling more relief than I ever had. Alex left them. They have nobody left to use for money. Maya chuckled. Wow. So even their favorite couldn't handle it. I nodded. He only cared about the fancy life, never actually helping. Now he's walked away from them too. Maya leaned back, looking at me with narrowed eyes. So, do you feel bad for them? I thought about it for a second. Then I shook my head. Not at all. They got what they deserved. About 4 years passed. I honestly never thought I'd step foot back in that house. About 4 years ago, I walked away from my parents, letting them deal with the mess they'd made. Alex had left too, when he realized he couldn't just use our parents to keep his easy life going. They lost both their kids in the space of just 2 weeks. At the time, I didn't feel bad at all. I had spent my whole life trying to get their approval, only to be ignored and taken advantage of. But as the years went by, I started to understand something. Maybe they weren't completely awful people. Maybe they were just lost. And now, after all this time, I stood outside that old door, wondering if it could ever truly feel like home again. I knocked. The door opened, and my mom was standing there. She just stared at me, her eyes getting wide in disbelief. Jamie. I swallowed the lump in my throat. Hi, Mom. Before I could even react, she rushed forward, wrapping her arms around me like she was scared I'd disappear. I heard her crying against my shoulder. I'm sorry. I am so sorry. I stood still for a moment, then gently hugged her back. I know. My dad came out of the living room. His hair was much grayer than I remembered. When he saw me, he froze, then took a deep breath and walked over. Jamie. I looked at him, and for the first time in years, I didn't see anger or stubbornness in his eyes. Only regret. I'm sorry. 3 simple words. The ones I had waited for so long. I smiled softly. I know, Dad. We sat down in the living room, the place where I had happy memories before everything went wrong. There was no blaming, no hard feelings anymore. Just a family trying to fix the past. After a while, I hesitated before asking, "Where's Alex?" My mom gave a small, sad smile. He's changed a lot. After losing everything, he realized he couldn't just rely on others forever. He got himself together, found a job, and learned to stand on his own 2 feet. I was surprised. Really? My mom nodded. He's always wanted to talk to you, but he was too scared. He thought you'd never forgive him. I sighed, then took out my phone. I'll call him. My mom smiled, tears running down her face. Thank you, Jamie. The phone rang a few times before I heard Alex's voice. Hello. I took a deep breath. Alex, it's me. A long silence. Then I heard a shaky breath on the other end. You're actually calling me? I smiled. Yes. We need to talk. About 4 years of distance, of hurt, of not understanding each other. But in the end, we started to find our way back. Family isn't perfect, but if everyone is willing to change, they can still find their way home.